Welcome on a journey with me in African Spatial Studio. Introduce theories from Henry Lefebvre, Doreen Massey, Edward Soja, Nigel Cross, Bill Hillier, and Jane Randall. Now let's put these theories into practice. I want to show how even a small misalignment in space can shift dynamics and create tension in how people move, gather, and interact. Do you ever wonder what happens when what's drawn on paper does not reflect what is happening on the ground? When the systems do not really reflect everyday life? Okay, let's now dive into the site we chose and understand how systems can be misinterpreted and actually affect everyday life. Space designated for informal traders that might help us understand these theories. Next to it is where taxis drive in to drop people in front of the train station. From there into the taxi rank, some people move from train station to taxi rank. Some move from or walk from Fish Hoek surrounding to the train station. However, this area is not used, is not interacted with much. So let's get started. Let me take you on a journey of our project. Our case study is in Fish Hoek in Cape Town's Western Cape. This station links to the central Cape Town station through a long railway line dotted with multiple stops. Immediately next to it is Cork Bay, a lively, full of social sports and activities area. Further down the valley lies Simonstown. On the other side, you will find communities like Capri, Ocean View, Masipumelele, and Sun Valley. These surrounding neighborhoods rely heavily on Fish Hoek Station as a key connector unless you have a private car. A gateway out of what feels like an island like valley linking them to the broader city. Zooming in the station itself sits right beside a taxi rank. The two operate hand in hand. People pour out of the train and rush straight to the taxi or minibuses, and vice versa. To reach the station from surrounding communities, people mostly travel through along M4 main road or either on foot or by taxi. Why the M4? M4 is because it doubles as a commercial spine of Fishhook, attracting both shoppers and commuters. Ultimately, everyone funnels into one of two main entrances, converging at the taxi or the station. And here is where it gets fascinating from spatial perspective. This small area becomes a site of constant negotiation of space. Street vendors set up stalls, pedestrians wave through, taxis load and unload passengers. Shops line up the street and commuters sprint to catch trains. Each activity competes for a room, yet somehow they coexist, sometimes harmoniously and sometimes chaotically. Now, let's zoom into everyday life of the station or the area around train station. In the morning, a taxi will drop off people directly in front of the train station. Right there, you will find a lady selling fat goods. Commuters queue up out beside her, some running, but if it's huge traffic, some will line up outside the train station, grabbing a quick bite before rushing inside. Already, we see how food and mobility and waiting time overlaps. The station is not just about transport, but about daily survival and community routine. Right opposite the train station is a place or area designated for informal trading. However, this area is out of sight, out of circulation way. So it means it does not work properly. It was designed officially, however, as a lived experience, it does not work. So when taking those kind of elements, those small elements into consideration, you will see how much a small element misplaced can transform the space. But there's also a dynamic of time at play here. In the early morning hours rush, People pour out of taxis and race to buy tickets before the train departs. Queues are long, tensions are high, and movement is very fast. Later in the morning to afternoon, trains run only once an hour. So many commuters turn to taxis instead. That shift changes the whole rhythm of the place. As the day progresses, the station edge transforms again. Closer to the taxi or taxi rank, you will find other mamas cooking and selling food. At the taxi rank, the range of goods becomes even more diverse. There's traditional products, there's fruit, snacks, and some of the household items. And this continue late into early evening hours. For this video, we are taking on Bill Hiller's theory of space syntax. Through this theory, we would argue that the problem at Fish Hoek Station is primarily configurational. The designated informal trading space is spatially segregated from the main pedestrian route, meaning it sits at a low integration zone of spatial network. Because people naturally move along high integration route where visibility and connectivity are greatest, traders relocate themselves to those more integrated nodes like the station entrance and the taxi rank, where social and economic exchange is stronger. From Hiller's space syntax, we start to understand the movement economy that informal traders relocation show how movement generate economy value. Hiller's movement economy principle explain that commercial and social activity naturally cluster along paths of high pedestrian flow. The trader's choice to abandon the planned market area was not rebellious. It was actually a spatial logic in action. Hiller would interpret this as economic activity follows spatial move, not administrative designation. As a practitioner, spaces like this with so much intense diversity are one of my favorites. They help me open up my mind, asking myself questions like, should space be designed with so much permanency? There's so much happening in this video and so much happening in this space that I brought up. So they bring up things like, should there be so much permanency in designing spaces? As we see that there isn't so much permanence happening, taking place in this hop every single day. So I hope this video is very interesting to you, and I hope to see you again in another video coming next week. Thank you. Bye.